Welcome into the Friday special of the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. I know we've been a little bit up and down as far as times this week, as well as locations for myself, but it's great to be here with all of you back today. It is 4 o'clock here on the East Coast, joined alongside Gavin Tony on this marvelous Friday. It's going to be an exciting show today. I know it's only a half hour, but that means we have half the time. We're going to be doing double the energy. We're going to be doing whatever we can to get it all out there. I know I have some stuff to go over with our Philly teams. We have 2 games tonight to preview. Gavin, you have a lot to talk about today. I know you're going to want to get that started off. We also have our third member, Matt, coming on to preview tonight's Flyers game, as well as break down what's kind of been going on the past 24 hours between the Flyers and the Habs. And so it's a lot going on with that team, a lot going on around the league. But first of all, Gavin, how are you doing? I know it's later in the day than usual, but whatever it takes for us to be able to provide the most quality sports content that we can to our viewers, we appreciate you all sticking by for that.
Well, I'm doing great, Zach. And, yeah, you're right. I got a lot I got to get off. I'm calling all Lakers fans and LeBron fans. I got something for y'all because y'all doing a lot of talking last night for a guy that only dropped 10 points, all right, for 10 points, all right? But I'm not going to get into that right now. Zach, you went to State College. How you doing? How was the trip?
I mean, it was fun. I'm tired, obviously, but it was a fun time. I moved my brother in the other day. Again, he's been on the show before. He'll definitely be on again. Maybe give us a tour of his apartment while he's up there. We'll talk with him. There's definitely some stuff going on with Penn State. They're kind of the center of attention with some of the freshmen's decision-making, what's been going on Barstool. For those who are keeping track of that, you know what I'm talking about. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. Otherwise, it's great to go up there. Definitely a great opportunity we had my first show in an undisclosed location yesterday. I was outside early morning at the hotel. We had a little bit of a live audience around us, so I thought it was kind of cool. People walking by like, wait a minute, is this kid like on ESPN or something? Better. I should have said, yeah. No, I'm on the Sports Network, Gavin. It's entirely different thing, a much better thing. Sorry, ESPN, but we're coming for you. But in all seriousness, now it was a great trip. I'm excited, but it feels good to be home. A little trip. First time I've actually left the house since March. Not physically, slept somewhere else outside of my house since February, I guess I'd say technically, but March is when obviously things started to shut down. So it was different, definitely stranger for me, but I'm happy to be here. It's great to be on the show. Again, whatever we can do to provide the highest quality content here for the viewers. But other than that, no, it was a great trip, Gavin. I know that, again, we only have a 30-minute episode today, but here on the Friday special, I know Gavin has a little bit that he wants to talk about. So with that being said, Gavin, the floor is yours.
Last night, the Portland Trailblazers lost. I'm okay with that. The Portland Trailblazers are going to win in 6 anyway. I'm staying by that. For those who may or may not know, I don't care what happens. For all these Lakers fans that want to message me and keep asking me, am I going to pick third? Am I going to pick the team? No. What do I look like? I'm not. When I mean it, Zach. And I really do mean it. All right? I will not pick the Lakers at all. You're not winning at all this year. All right? The problem with Lakers fans is this. You guys win. Guys, I'm 17 years old. All right? It feels like it's been 11 years since you guys actually done something. And you guys haven't really do anything yet. And you guys aren't even that high up there in the West. Yeah, Zach, I know they're number 1 in the West. But guess what? Arguably, they don't even look that great. I got Lakers fans talking about Ben Simmons is out and Jason Tatum's doing this and Steph Curry's out and the Warriors are in. I know that. That's old news. That's old news. When Ben Simmons went out and after game 1, I knew what it was going to be. Zach, I'll take it even a step further. When Ben Simmons went out, I already knew Jason Tatum was going to do whatever he wanted. So that's old news. Lakers fans, you guys need to relax. All right, you need to relax. That's what y'all need to do. Now, LeBron fans, y'all are the worst out of all of them. You guys are like the Cowboys fans. You guys are neck and neck. Here's my problem with LeBron fans. First of all, LeBron's not even top 5. Let's get that out the way. He's not. All right? He's not. And when LeBron loses this first round, like Paul Pierce said, let's end this GOAT talk. Let's end it. All right? Let's end it. Because you're just ruining the thing. Now, how can you guys be running your mouth last night when you only had 10 points? Last time I checked, it was a horrible shooting night for Portland, right, Zach? It was a horrible day for Damian Lillard because he's dislocated his finger, all right? LeBron James only had 10 points, and if it wasn't for Anthony Davis, they wouldn't even win last night, Zach. Also, too, let's hold this out. You got Lakers fans and LeBron fans, they feel like they're on top right now. In reality, the Blazers still winning 5 games. Damian Lillard's not missing no time. So I don't know where these LeBron fans are coming from. I don't know what's going on. LeBron's not in top 5. And for any Lakers fan that keeps thinking they're going to message me and they're going to ask me what team am I going to pick the next game, excuse me, it's going to be Damian Lillard. And if they lose the series, and I'll pick the next team. I would never pick that team. For those who may or may not know me, I am a LeBron, the basketball player, and I got to put that in parentheses. When it comes to anything other than basketball, Zach, you know that. The I Promise School, anything outside of basketball, I'm all for LeBron James. But when it comes to basketball, do not ask. Do not ask. Because I am the number one LeBron critic. If you think that Skip Bayless is a critical, you never met me before. But all in all, Lakers fans, y'all make me laugh. Blazers in 5. Thank you very much.
I mean, it's definitely mixed feelings. You brought up some good points there, but don't do the same thing that so many people do when you're looking at the base, the Lakers fans, the LeBron fans, and looking at LeBron. Like you said before, LeBron, the person, the player, are two different things. With that being said, for those, my thoughts on LeBron James. I think the whole league today is still soft, but I've cited what LeBron.
Don't get me started on that either. Don't get me started on that either.
Listen, I cited in the past my thoughts on the GOAT debate. It's pretty obvious to me. And so where we Gavin and I divide is that LeBron James has that GOAT potential in him. And so the reason for that is by the end of his career, he will be the greatest of all time. Let's make something very clear. We talk about it with teammates, but this isn't the GOAT debate today. But what we're talking about is why Lakers fans are so excited. First of all, it's their first
playoff. They're finally good. They're finally good.
My turn. I let you speak.
Go ahead. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
This is the first playoff. Like you said before, the Lakers are good again. The Lakers are the pinnacle of the NBA. Them and Boston. You ask anyone all time, these two teams. You have Magic Johnson. Kareem came late in his career. You have Kobe Bryant. The reason that Lakers fans this year, the reason that last night meant a lot to Lakers fans, number one, first of all, we all know this. Kobe Bryant, unfortunately, tragically in January, lost his life. We all love Kobe, respect what he's done for the game. But what he's done for the Lakers is even more, just as much. So for a guy like LeBron James, who, Gavin, I'm sure you'll say Kobe Bryant could never fill, or I'm sorry, LeBron James will never fill the shoes of
Kobe in his life.
As a Los Angeles Laker legacy. I agree with that. Almost everybody should agree with that, in my opinion. With that being said, though, Kobe Bryant respected a lot of what LeBron James was starting to do for LA, and he, unfortunately, when he passed, the Lakers were in a good position. They were the 1 seed, I believe, so he did die knowing that was the situation, and they've continued that since then. You saw guys like Quinn Cook and LeBron James crying on the court that night. Gavin, who'd they lose to in that first game?
Lost to Portland.
They lost to Portland. Game 1, Portland is red hot. They lose to Portland. Last night, they go out there. No, LeBron James doesn't look great. He actually looked pretty good defensively. Anthony Davis, yes, was carrying the team. You said without him, well, no duh, Gavin. Without Kevin Durant, Steph Curry only has 1 ring. But as I digress, and you might disagree with that, that'll be a debate for another day. But in reality, the reason that this means so much from an emotional standpoint for Lakers fans, again, I'm not a Lakers fan. I just believe LeBron potentially can be the greatest of all time. The reason I believe this means a lot for Lakers fans, it's their first playoff win without Kobe Bryant leading the torch, and then even more emotionally, without him able to see them winning courtside or on TV or anywhere in person, physically speaking. And so I think that is the biggest – that's why last night's game was cementing. I know, Gavin, you still feel the Trailblazers are going to win. I disagree. I'm taking the Lakers in 6. LeBron James – I feel like a playoff LeBron is going to rise to the occasion like he always does, and he's going to come out of the West. I'm going to keep holding to that statement. The Clippers are still a great team. The Mavs actually beat up on them the other night, but no one wants to talk about that. In reality, that's why Lakers fans probably feel so emotionally touched by last night's victory, and that's basically how I see it from their perspective. Again, that's not my perspective. That's just from their perspective.
Well, Zach, and this is why I had to say LeBron fans, right? Because I had a great talk with a Lakers fan, right? First of all, those that keep texting me and say, oh, you hate Kobe Bryant, knock it off. I love Kobe, all right? His determination made me want to work harder in life, especially with all the stuff I've been through. So don't even throw that Kobe, I hate Kobe mess at me, because that's just asinine and that's just blasphemous. Don't even say that. But here's the thing. When you look at this team, right? And you look at everything, right? You look at everything they've been through, obviously tragic, right? Last night's win, I'm not even mad, all right? My great friend, one of my good friends in the text chat, my great friend Miles, we talked about the game last night. I had no problem with him. It was the LeBron fans that made the game worse. They're the reasons why I hope the Lakers lose because of them. like I said, look, if Cowboys fans are up here, LeBron fans are neck and neck. They're not that far off. Last night was a great win for Lakers fans. I'll admit that. I'm not talking about the bandwagon Lakers fans. I'm talking about the Lakers fans that have been there just when they were losing to now, right? Those are the Lakers fans I have no problem with. You know, it may seem like I give them a hard time. In reality, I don't. It's the ones that, as soon as LeBron joined last year, 2 years ago to be exact, those are the fans I don't like. I don't like them. I can't stand them. They're not real fans. They're like, you know what they are, Zach? They're like free agents. They go from here to here to here. All right? They don't have a spot. Wherever he goes, it's where they go. All right? Let me digress a little bit. The thing about LeBron fans that make it worse is that they're delusional. They're delusional. You seen Shannon Sharp come on Fox Sports 1, Undisputed. He comes on there with a goat mask and takes his suit off and wears LeBron jersey. That's delusional. He doesn't say he's better than Jordan, though. But a lot of LeBron fans said he's better than Jordan. So Lakers fans, I'm not attacking y'all personally. You know, it may seem like I am, but it's because there's like 50,000 other or maybe even more fans that joined y'all 2 years ago that aren't even real fans. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, that's my rest of my case. And for those LeBron fans, I know they're gonna be messaging me after the show. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because don't do it. Do not do it.
No, next week, again, due to a short show, we are going to have to cut that segment. But as you pointed out, LeBron James, 10 points last night. Defended Carmelo Anthony pretty well. Pretty sure Carmelo only had 4 points. But the series continues tomorrow night, so look forward to it. We might be doing a weekend special, Gavin. We'll talk about it after the show. Since I know this would be kind of up and down with time, we might as well make it up here on the weekend. But with that being said, after this, we're going to be talking about the Philadelphia Flyers with our good friend Matt of the show, talking about what this means for the team, suspensions and the drama and the physicality as we enter Game 6. Can the Flyers finish it off tonight? We're going to find out right after this. We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom-designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode. And welcome back in. We are now going to be bringing in Matt. We're going to be talking a lot today about our hockey team here in Philly. For those who need a recap or haven't been following exactly, the Flyers win Game 1. They dropped Game 2 in a similar fashion, I'd say, to the game the other night, maybe a little bit less. There's Game 3 they win, Game 4 back-to-back shutouts, and then on a back-to-back day, Carter Hart starts. There were people before the game, and me, Gavin, we talked about this on the show, whether or not they should start Carter Hart. It seemed like duh, you would. Hart definitely did seem fatigued at some point, still made some great saves, almost came out of the game, and then due to a offsides, he ended up staying in the game because that goal was omitted. Actually, all 3 goals the other night for the Flyers. How about this? They were scored on power plays. Who would have thought? That's all crazy. But definitely, Matt, first of all, thanks for being on today. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
What's going on, Matt? How you doing?
Definitely great to have you on here. So first of all, I want to talk about Game 5. We know the stakes for Montreal. We knew they were going to come out and give it their all. It was a physical matchup. We'll get to the suspension and obviously all that, and then we're going to get to tonight's game. But first of all, Matt, Game 5, give us a little bit of a rundown.
It was pretty bad. I feel like every time that we scored, they scored right back. So, like the momentum, we just weren't able to build off of it because they would just get the momentum right back from scoring. Hart he was going to get pulled, like you said, after one of the goals that ended up being offsides. And he went over to the bench. AV said that he looked him in the eyes and just kind of like saw like he wasn't like fazed by it. So he put him back in. There's not really much to say about it. It was just a pretty physical game. Obviously, we can talk about the injuries once we talk about Game 6, but it was a pretty bad game, except for the power play goals, which is always nice to see.
So Matt, let me ask you this. We talked about Game 5. We talked about we talked a lot, Zach, off the show. One thing I asked you is the Canadian player that's hurt. Is he out for what would be the rest of the series?
Yeah.
With a broken jaw. That's first of all, that's speedy recovery. We don't like injuries on anybody because regardless of the team. But What do you think went wrong in Game 5?
I kind of said it. I'll say it again. It's like the momentum. Usually in hockey is a game of, in my opinion, of like momentum. Whoever has the momentum is going to win because they're going to keep it in the zone. They're going to end up scoring, and there's not going to be much that they have to do defensively. And so whenever we would get the momentum, which would be from those power play goals, like they scored right back. So we couldn't hold that momentum, which really resulted in us losing. It was a good game, but it says it's too because of the empty net.
Yeah, no, that's just the cherry on top for them after a game like that. But I mean, in hindsight, again, we spoke about this before the game the other night of whether or not Carter Hart should start on the back-to-back. It's the playoffs. It really is a slam dunk. Like, yes, you're going to start him. You're going to give it all you got. Looking back on it, what do you think could have been done differently for coaching, and what would you have done differently? Either would you pull Carter Hart during the game? Would you have started Brian Elliott, given it was a back-to-back? Or, I mean, obviously the mindset for AV was let's finish it off tonight and get the rest for the rest of the week. And, I mean, unfortunately, it didn't pay off, but that's one of the risks you have to go towards, which shows a very experienced coaching staff. But again, Matt, I mean, just depending on what would you think? What would you maybe have done differently, if anything, as far as the goaltending situation?
I probably would have started Hart as well. He's younger. I mean, they had Price in net, and he's 33. So the fact that he played back-to-back is really, in my eyes, I mean, there's no excuse not to put Hart in net. He also had, back-to-back shutouts. So
He did, yep.
you give him the chance,
Fantastic.
let him get his confidence up. Like, this is a back-to-back in the playoffs, and the coach trusts him. And, I mean, we saw, like, I think Elliott probably would have allowed the same goals, except for maybe the first one. I didn't like the first one because Hart needs to get better at rebounding. That's the only thing I don't like about his game, is that when they shoot on net, he doesn't hold the puck. He kind of like always tries to give it out to a defenseman, and they're a pretty like feisty team. So they like rush that right away, and they usually get the puck. So he just needs to hold on to it.
So Matt, after game 5, Carter Hart, before game 5, Carter had 2 shutouts back to back.
Yeah.
How do you think his performance in the playoffs has been so far, regardless game 2 and 5?
Amazing. I mean, this is his first time in the playoffs, and back-to-back shutouts against a Canadiens team that I would say they're kind of underrated, kind of. It's hard to explain, but like we win against teams like Tampa, like Boston, which we saw in the round robin, and it's kind of because they're sort of like us in a way because they slow down the game and really just try to make like the best opportunities. Whereas this Canadiens team, they're so young and they don't understand that they're going to be, using all their energy, taking any shot that they can get. And for a team like us, who's not really used to that because we've been playing this like playoff type of like hockey, like slowing it down in the regular season, which is how we won a lot of the games. It's like they just need to get a little more respect because like doing that in the playoffs is not easy. It's just not easy. You don't see that much.
No, I agree. I think it's definitely they're not a mismatch, but they're a younger team, and maybe the record doesn't demonstrate how physical they can be. So let's now shift it over here to Game 6. What are some of your thoughts for tonight, some predictions, and how will it go? We do expect a pretty physical matchup tonight. It's probably going to get ugly, but
yeah.
So let's get some of your thoughts on that.
I have to like see the first period before I kind of make a decision on who I think is going to win it. That's usually how it is for like every game. I can say like, oh, I think the Flyers are going to win because, obviously, like Gavin said, hope Brendan Gallagher can get better soon. But them not having him, that's a huge loss because he is one of their guys that is just so like physical and just wants to get every shot there is on net. They still have Suzuki and I'm probably going to butcher his name. I think it's like Kaniemi or something. And they're both centers, so they're on different lines. They're like really fast, really good at scoring. So I'm kind of scared to have I'm not going to try to say his name again. People call him Cott, so I'll just say that. But to have him back in the lineup, because obviously Game 5 he got ejected in the beginning for that hit on Sanheim that personally, I think he should have got suspended for, because last year, I believe it was either Konechny or Patrick, some Devils player did that to them, and they got suspended. So the fact that they didn't get suspended, or not they, but like the Canadians player didn't get suspended, that's just so stupid.
So Matt, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just having those two in the game, it's gonna be hard. It's never easy with them. They're really feisty and just want to get a ton of goals.
Well, hockey's not an easy sport to begin with, Matt. Look, I can't skate, so I'm just going to I gotta give credit to a lot of people who, skate or do something that doesn't involve their automatic bounce. But I gotta ask you, the Islanders win 4-0 yesterday. They win 4-1 in the series, and if the Flyers win today, you face the Islanders. What's the feeling for going against the Islanders?
They're a really good team. I think the one advantage that we kind of have is we have a lot of depth, and not to say that they don't have depth, but they're one of those teams that has like that main goal scorer, which for them is Barzal. Yeah. So, it's like with the Capitals, it's usually Ovechkin. So like each team kind of has like their own designated scorer. The Flyers don't have that. And that's something that is kind of an advantage because everybody chips in, and it's not that game plan where it's like specifically built around one star player. So I think we could take advantage of their depth. The only thing is that they also have Varlamov, who's their goalie. He was on the Avalanche last season, and he's been unstoppable to an extent because obviously Washington beat them. But it's pretty good. I think that we could take them, though.
Definitely no. I mean, it's definitely don't want to put too many feet in front of each other before this series is over, but it's definitely a legitimate situation. They just took out the Caps. I know you did mention that. I want to shift it over real quick to the West before we do wrap up with you today. The Colorado Avalanche, that series has been, I don't even want to say it was just not fun to watch, but it was them, the Coyotes. It was not a very evenly.
Both go. I mean, Arizona in my opinion, Arizona should have won because their goalie, Darcy is his first name. I'm not even going to try to say his last name. Hockey is such a hard sport to pronounce last names.
You get a lot of guys from the Nordics and Canada and all that.
So
unless they're my team, obviously I won't really take the time to try to learn it.
But Couturier, Giroux.
Yeah. So their goalie, he had no defense, and he's like one of the best goalies right now in the league, in my opinion. He's just crazy good, and the fact that Arizona's defense did not help him like one bit, it's kind of depressing because they should have won that series, even though that they were like one of the last seeds in. I feel like they should have won it. They're a pretty good team.
Yeah, that score was just ugly to look at. But no, you made a good point there. I'm curious to see. I'm sure there's a lot more shots on goal for that, and it makes a big difference. Even with Carter Hart, the defense has to be there, and they've helped him a lot. And if they haven't, you see what's happened in games like Game 2. But with that being said, Matt, thanks so much for being on today. We're hoping for tonight, hoping for a victory. We hopefully we can bring you on again next week and talk about it some more, and hopefully an Islander series coming up and continuing the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yep. Thank you.
Matt, real quick. Avalanche, Stars?
Avalanche. Just because the Stars don't have Bishop.
Got you.
Now we'll see what happens. Thanks so much again, Matt, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, we got about 7 minutes left here, Gavin. Just a few other things. We talked about the Phillies before. I can see the mug is not there today. 2 minutes. So that, it was just a bad day. They lost to a bad team. Your pitching really blew it twice.
Spencer Howard looked good though.
Spencer Howard, yeah. They just traded with the Yankees. We got to get more details, but they do have a reliever from them, and they're looking to trade for a good closer from Boston. So hopefully that helps. You got 10 days until the trade deadline. Make some moves, Phillies. That's all I have to say about them, Gavin. Anything else for them? They kick off a 3-game series against the Braves tomorrow, I think. So hopefully they can actually at least win a few of those games and pull ahead. I'm going to go with the standings here. Gavin, what's your thoughts on the Phillies?
Well, I had the trade details, a little bit of details we knew from the first one. I lost my notes, but I got to do better. But no, that's a great trade. We need a reliever. They're looking to get a reliever from Boston who they just played. So I think Joe Girardi realized like these dudes suck and we need help.
Yeah, I mean Matt Clemens is trying to save his job, or he's done here this year if they can't get
He's
any more.
done. He's definitely. I don't care what he does. Look, Zach, I can't say what I want to say, but nothing could save his job. I hate saying it because I don't like when people lose their job. It's the same thing with Brett Brown.
He's messed up big time.
Yeah, he's messed up big time. But no, 3-game series, like I say, you gotta get the majority. You don't have to win all three. You can win 2 of them. That's all.
They're playing a good team now. They're tied for last place again. I mean, they're only 3 games back at first, but they're up. I mean, if they sweep the Braves, they're in first place.
Exactly. But look, I just stress the majority.
Yeah,
The 4-game series get
right, and you need some pitching. So I think that's going to be the big change. The reason that we did cut that short, we have 5 minutes left here for those who may or may not have known the draft lottery did take place last night. And first of all, Gavin, how happy are you that the New York Knicks got the 8th overall pick?
I'm not happy, man. Listen, it's not fun anymore beating up on the Knicks. I was so upset with LeBron fans, all right, that I didn't get time to enjoy the Knicks fail again. So New York Knicks fans, I'm sorry, all right? It's not funny no more. It's actually pain, and I'm not even a Knicks fan. But the Warriors ended up getting the 2nd pick. The Timberwolves got the 1st, and the Hornets got the 3rd. I think that
Bulls got the 4th.
Bulls got the 4th. Can't remember off the hand who the 5th. But the Knicks, man. But the Knicks still can't tank right, man. And I'm not even trying to bully the Knicks today. It's just the fact that you still can't do it right. All in all, Knicks fans, I'm gonna spare y'all till next week. I used all my voice on the Lakers and / LeBron fans, so I'm gonna spare y'all. But the draft lottery, actually kind of surprised. I thought the Warriors were gonna get the 1st pick.
Yeah, no, Cleveland fell out. Cleveland fell out the 5th pick, I think.
And I thought the Suns were gonna get just a little bit higher, maybe like 9.
The first 5 or 6 picks from 14 up to like 9 or 8 were all in order pretty much, but.
Did the Hawks get the 4th?
14th overall pick goes to Boston, which was Memphis's, and then it went up from there.
Did the Hawks get the 4th?
No, the Hawks I think fell out, and the Bulls got the 4th. Chicago did.
I hope the Bulls
with that. Maybe they can keep Zach LaVine and Markin in there. But I'll ask you this final question here as we wrap up our Friday edition, Gavin. Are the Warriors going to take who I've been saying from the beginning they're going to take James Wiseman? I know for a fact the Timberwolves, unless they trade out, Wiseman's not going 1st overall.
Well, Zach, I believed at first it was going to be Anthony Edwards, and I thought if you put Klay Thompson at small forward, because he's a great defender, perimeter defender, he can guard some of these small forwards in the league, and you put Anthony Edwards at shooting guard, that would be fine. Him, Anthony Edwards, Steph Curry, and then they got.
You have Andrew. We have Andrew Wiggins. That's why I'm questioning because they get Wiseman. He goes at a 5, and then you have a pretty stacked lineup. If you do get Edwards, you're right. You can put him at the 2 and put Klay Thompson at 3, which is what they were going to do with D'Angelo Russell, but that didn't really work out. Obviously, you traded him to the Timberwolves, and now they had the 1st overall pick. Do you think that the Warriors decide to use that pick, or are they going to use it as trade bait?
I wouldn't be surprised if they look to shop it around, but it will be Jonathan Wiseman.
I will see what happens, Gavin. With that being said, everyone, thanks so much for joining us this week. Next week, we're back. He's angry with that. We'll see how the Blazers series ends up. But with that being said, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this week. I know it was up and down and crazy, but back to normal next week, 12 to 1 every day. Make sure you like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us. We're going to be having the podcast up next week as well. We should be good to go there. I know we've been kind of having it over our heads, but we are getting everything taken care of on our end. So thanks again so much, everyone. Next week, we should be in person, Gavin, unless anything changes. But other than that, thanks again, everybody, for joining us today. And until next time, have a good one.
See ya. See y'all.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of our videos.